islands of the Bahamas. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
The following portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the shocking killing of a 5-year-old boy is still setting in the Camp Road community, where the child reportedly suffered a brutal attack at the hands of a relative. It was just after 6 o'clock yesterday evening that the little body of Daquan Clark was found in a bedroom of his home on Strawn's Alley off Camp Road. Besides the unbearable grief the episode has brought on, there are countless questions about the unspeakable act of violence. Jiminy DeSwain has more.
Screams pierced the night sky at the corner of Strawn's Alley at Camp Road as family members and residents wept as the tiny body of a 5-year-old child was removed from apartment 21. Residents in the area telling ZNS News that the victim was the last of 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl. They say the victim's sister had just returned home from work when she ran into the street screaming that her brother was dead, drawing a crowd. The child was reportedly left in the care of his brother, who was babysitting him. Assistant Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson said the child's lifeless body was found bloodied in a bedroom just after 6 p.m.
This young child had an apparent stab injury to the chest and a laceration to the neck. Officers conducted preliminary investigations at the scene and took into custody a 20-year-old male relative who is assisting with this investigations.
Assistant Commissioner Ferguson said the relative was arrested in another bedroom in the home. A woman identified as the child's grandmother was comforted as she wept inconsolably for the slain child. Residents say it was in the process of making calls about the incident that the mother learned the unfortunate news.
The mother, both calls, she was unaware of what was happening at her house. So they said that they was sending someone to get her. They didn't want to break the news to her on a job. She had no idea what was happening. He was very energetic, very friendly. He loved people, he loved everything, and most of the people say the last remembrance they have of him is a junior junkie who just spanking those drums, excited.
He's always well kept all the time, and he always hail you, and he'll always say something to make you smile. For me, the memories that I would have of him, I always admire her as mommy, have him well kept.
Assistant Commissioner Ferguson said it was a difficult scene.
We have consuls who is assigned to the Royal Bahamas Police Force. No doubt officers who attended the scene will receive some counseling.
Police and residents alike are questioning what could have led to this child's untimely death. Jiminy DeSwain, ZNS Network News.
Prime Minister Perry Christie has expressed his sadness at the incident. He told reporters today that the country is far too small to accept this kind of occurrence.
We have to go house to house and be able to develop a profile of every house on every street so that we at least could be in a position to know what we are dealing with and to design strategies that may in some way prevent this kind of thing from happening. So it's a horrible, horrible kind of development in our country, but we have to learn from it.
Furthermore, Mr. Christie says the entire country has to feel involved as this affects all of us.
This is a reflection on the entire country, and that is why I've spoken so strongly about having to dedicate resources to ensure that we could put in place some kind of strategy to deal with this. We feel very, very strongly for the family, mother, father, parents. It is just a horrible thing to have happened, and it's ugly, it's reprehensible, it's repugnant to all of the norms in our country and the way we do things. It's just And obviously, it has to be levels of depravity, mental depravity, and meaning illness.
Following the deaths of 3 suspects by police at the hands of police officers in recent days, former pastor of New Covenant Baptist Church Bishop Simeon Hall is making a strong appeal to would-be criminals to cease from involving themselves in illegal activity which could result in their deaths. Bishop Hall says we're losing too many of our young men, and churches should continue to follow an open-door policy to help those who are in need or are in distress.
We understand that of the 3 persons or would-be robbers who were killed in the last 3 weeks, 1 family is having problems burying the young man. All 3 of the families, all 3 of the would-be criminals have family members. Some of them have children. We make an appeal to these young men who are our sons, to think about what you're doing.
In other news tonight, Prime Minister Perry Christie says he has no clue where former Minister of State for Finance, Shirago Lang, would get the idea that the government only has one option when it comes to regaining a majority stake in the Bahamas telecommunications company. Mr. Lang has said that the government's only option is to forcibly take back 2% from cable and wireless, which he said would send the wrong message to the international community.
Tell Mr. Lang that he is grievously in error of the options available to a government in an economy such as the Bahamas has. And he and all concerned will see, right, if those options have to be exercised.
Well, Mr. Christie says the government has more options without a doubt. Here's how he elaborated on that.
I don't want to interfere with negotiations that are still ongoing. See, it is wrong for anyone to conclude, as I saw a headline conclude, right, that negotiations have been completed, and that I have given up. That is not so. I'm still hoping that good sense would prevail.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, find out why these young men will be having a good Christmas. That's after the break.